thanks to Astro. Let's go into our first listen-in of this new Grand Final series.
That well, and you know, they did come close, I think, in the hard point. I didn't catch too much of the game, but you know, the hard point was a little bit close. They should be doing better than they are against some of these lesser teams, but you know, time will really tell once we get into the championship bracket. That's when we'll really see them come to life.
I'm keen to see how that's all going to go down, but let's get into the game at hand. We're going to have Empyre Esports versus Frontline. You can see both of them actually on a bit of a losing streak right here. Both of them have just come out of 3-0 losses. Frontline obviously having the advantage when it does come to the win-loss ratio for maps. And they are in the positive there. So Frontline, just by statistics, probably looking like our favourites. And Kyle, would you say that that's accurate, that Frontline would be our favourites?
By stats, I'd like to follow that, yes. But, I mean, Empyre's got more old-school players here. I've scrimmed against Kid in Black Ops 3, I believe it was. Pretty solid player there, so I dare say he's probably evolved a fair bit since then, hopefully, and learned some new moves and some new action, basically.
His new moves have got him off the map. In the previous series, we threw him up here. Hopefully, he can hang in there, Kitty, this time around. He and the rest of the squad will hopefully be able to put on a show here for this series. But let's check out our next squad. And Milboss, I'll get you to run us through them as we go. And it is, of course, going to be Empyre Esports. Couple of faces in here that we've seen plenty of times before. A couple probably a little bit more fresh, but we've seen all these guys around the block.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team has come up into this event. They've had a couple of really good showings, a couple of not so good. You know, Empyre obviously a story player for history, you know, going back until the inception of, you know, 4v4 Call of Duty in our region at least. You know, Tyson, he impressed me yesterday. I'm going to be out there honest. I think Empyre have got a really good shot, really good chance of taking this series. Pixel as well, he's had his name in a couple of teams here and there. Empyre, you always see him in the scene, whether it be online in 2Ks or, you know, at the events like this one. So I'm excited to see how they stack up. I feel like they've got a very good shot at taking this series.
I totally agree with that. Envious has got to be a player that stands out for me a lot. He's definitely a hot and cold player, I feel, though, but he shines. He can shine bright like a diamond when he wants to. I think out of that squad, probably one of the most underrated players is Pixel. You see him around the traps, it's been in a lot of rosters, but Kyle, I just think that he probably deserves a little bit more recognition for what he brings to the table in, well, not only in this game, but in previous Call of Duty titles as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's never really necessarily been like the notable star player, but he's always come up big in a lot of tournaments, honestly. He's played pretty solidly. Been pretty consistently impressed by his subby work back in the day. I remember his CUDA action back in Black Ops 3 was pretty solid. probably gave me a little bit more confidence around that gun over the VMP back in the day.
And on the same lineup, I would actually point out Tyson as well, because he's probably the player out of both of these lineups that I know least about. But Milboss, he's been playing a very impressive, he's put on a very impressive performance this weekend so far.
When they played on main stage yesterday, he was, getting a lot of kills. And I feel like this is a team that there's no standout slayer necessarily. Yeah, obviously Kitty, we all know he's a god at S&D. Pixel is just, all round quite solid. But Tyson, he really stepped up in those respawns, and I'm excited to see if he can't repeat that here.
Keen to see both of these teams compete. Let's have a look at the maps and game types they will be playing on. First up, of course, for your hard point will be Scorch, and as we saw previously, it's going to be that Crusher, Search, Destroy, and throw back up. These guys obviously into round 3 of their group. So this is obviously Group B that we're talking about. If they get to it, we'll see a breakout hard point, Retaliation, Search, and Destroy. Now, both teams here have pretty decent lineups. Kyle, I'm not expecting such a one-sided affair that we saw in the previous series.
No, Josh, I'm not quite sure how this Scorch is going to end up. I mean, I'm expecting some serious aggression out of Frontline. It is a smaller map. I would expect a solid amount of trades here in some of the earlier hard points. But I'm intrigued to see how good their rotations are, especially to some of the more bigger money hills, especially on that turbine, especially in the hangar. So I feel like Empyre's probably got the XP to work through a lot of the earlier rotations and things like that. So I'm keen to see how Frontline play as a squad.
I think I'm going to be seeing Pixel and Perko really step up in this map. So what do you think their opposition of Frontline are going to do to face that, Milboss?
It's going to be hard to tell because, once again, there's some recognizable names on that team. Trent, Curry Kid, for example, that have all been around, once again, very similar to Pixel. They've just been around a whole bunch of teams, never really found their footing. And I'm hoping that they can do that in this team today. I'm hoping that they can work together as a squad. I feel like last time we saw them on main stage, they were just a little bit all over the place and not really as coordinated as you need to be.
Well, we made some jokes about Curry Kid, but he had a really impressive performance overall. And in fact, you could say that all weekend, Milboss, that he's been playing really well.
I'd have to agree, yeah. He's definitely stepped up out of anyone on this team. Once again, there's no standout player, but I think that he's definitely come to life, and that's what you need when you're a relatively new team like they are and a relatively underestimated roster. If you've got that one player who can start heating up, that will get the rest of your team excited and raring to go as well.
And as we're looking at the rig draft, there's another name that we haven't really talked about, Kyle, and that would be Snopey. And again, one of those underrated players that doesn't get talked about enough, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Josh. I was still scrimming back against him as well. I think him and Curry have spent a fair bit of time together playing around, so I'm expecting at least some sort of team chemistry here that should be able to carry them through some of the more important hard points like I mentioned previously.
Scorch Hardpoint, a great map to play on. Can't wait to see what both of these teams bring to the table. Milboss, as we head into this, who are you favouring?
I'd have to give it to Empyre at this point. I'm not, too set on that prediction, but I would be quite certain in saying that it's going to be a close game at least. I mean, Kyle, when you look at these two rosters, we've said already that there's no real super duper star talent lineup or star talent player. Is there anyone that you can think of that could potentially be the difference for either team?
Well, I mean, we watched Tyson play S&D previously yesterday. I think he almost broke out with an ace on the first round. So, I don't know. I'm expecting some big things from him based on his slaying ability there. And I think that will sort of come out pretty big against against Frontline.
Well, here we are loading into the map. You can see the fly-through on your screen. A very nice-looking map. And I know for certain that this is one of the maps that Kitty likes to play because so many tight little corners that he can hide in and sneak from, and he can jump out at you. You know what? It's the way that it has to be done if you are Kitty, or Envious as he likes to go by these days. I like Kitty better though.
Yeah, me too.
I think everyone does at this point. I don't know why he changed that. But, it's definitely, I think, his game that he needs to step up and help his team accomplish the success here. I mean, yeah, as we've said, there's definitely notable players on each team, but no one who's really stepped up and been that tier 1 opposition or tier 1 player in the region or, even in the top 8 that I can think of. Here and there, maybe some of them have got top 8 placings, top 6 even. That Kitty himself was on that original Orbit lineup in stage 1 of Black Ops 3, I believe, and they went, 9-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
so
impressive online performance. Very
impressive player, and it's definitely one of those things where every now and then he'll show up, but in a hot and cold player, like what Josh said, and I'm hoping he can do that for his sake here as we load into this map. A beautiful little transition there. Thank you very much to the men on the jib. Some nice little work there as we hop into this one. Who do you want to kick it off with?
I want Tyson. Let's see what he's got.
All right, here we go. Tyson is going to be on your screen to start things off. He has that K-bar in hand, and active camo. Love seeing that being used, and he made some decent plays with it, I remember, yesterday. So let's see if he can't continue that. He's going to get a kill early on here, as well as Envious Kitty, as he just storms through all of these frontline players and spawns them out to the cave side of the map.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty solid start there. They have managed to flip exactly like you just said. And Tyson picking up a clean frag. They're going to go for the two-piece, but gets shut down straight away by Snopey. I do like they've played for the flip early, and we do see a couple of players from Frontline trying to actually flip already. I do like that, but I think they need to have a little bit more presence on middle map, potentially work for the pinch instead of playing for those spawns so early. Yeah, it's important for Turbine because it can be a money hill, but they've basically just made this middle hill for Empyre become a money hill.
Well, they just got 2 beats there, so that doesn't help in any situation, but Kyrie's able to trade that one back out. 15 seconds remaining, though. Frontline can potentially get some more points on this one. Let's go down and see what's happening on the next rotation. No one from Frontline really trying to get that spawn engagement. They know that all of the Empyre players are going to be spawned there, ready and waiting. So they need to be careful about this push that they now make. I'm going to hop on with Trent, see what he does here. As he starts to push in, he's going to get absolutely deleted by Pixel. Pixel with 2. Can he find the third? He does. And the 4th around the corner, he's going to go for the chase. Exchanging shots there. No kill is made until Tyson backs him up. But a very nice start from Pixel as well.
I'm a little bit surprised they opted for the 4-stack through lab. There are only 2 pretty small doors to come through there. Would have expected at least one player to sort of come around and pinch through elbow to try and get like the full flip onto Empyre. But it didn't really happen. So ultimately the push worked. Yes, they do have control of the hard point. But there's only 26 seconds left. And it's going to sort of even things up, but not quite as large as it could have been from the early break. Thankfully, they only got drill spawns. Looks like we're going to have the rotation coming in now. Perko is the first person up on this new hard point. It's going to be setting up nicely. We do have someone just hanging out, looking to anchor into cave. That is a good early frag here. And we're going to see, it's pretty spread, pretty messy. Empyre chased that last hard point, which I think is a little bit risky, considering they did already have hanger spawns. So they basically allowed Frontline to get in on the anchor. There's only going to be one player for Empyre there, and he's not going to get a frag. No, it's going to be Envious Kitty going big here.
He needs to stay alive. He's got 2 players testing him, and they're going to shut him down there. Nice work by Luda. Yeah, definitely, I agree. You know, Envious, he's one of those players, he's very experienced. He should know how to play patient enough that he can get important kills. There, just felt a little bit rushed from him, but nicely done by Pixel to hold on to this. And another one. Can he turn around and absolutely decimate that player who just got some shots into him? I doubt it there. But some support from Kitty is going to allow them to keep control of this one. Empyre, as they're just trying to stay alive on the hill. Oh, Trent is so one-shot, it's not even funny. He's going to keep pushing with his teammates. Pixel, though, he's staying alive in a 3-kill streak right now. He's done this a couple of times, so he's actually building up quite nicely towards that Centurion, which is his payload in this one. We'll see what he can do throughout the rest of the game. But now you look at the lead, it's above 80 points, or exactly 80 points now, I believe. And they're in a bit of a pickle right now, Frontline. Yeah, Frontline were really staggered pushing that hard point. They had a good attempt on the back, but I managed to trade Envious out, but didn't really sort of evolve into points for them. And I think that's due to a little bit of their stagger, but we are on the next hard point now. It is mostly in control of Frontline. They did get spawned out, so they have got the early rotation. Luda's going to be getting pinched here from both sides. He does have a little bit of support. And the Empyre guys are a little bit staggered coming out. Plays 3 and 4 coming up here, but it's going to be Pixel picking up frags. It's going to be 2 each for the side of Empyre and Frontline. We do have control to Empyre, and we just have the Scarab coming out now. He's going to push out this spawn as all 4 players of Frontline are going to push down their elbow. It's a 2-piece Envious Kitty with a disgusting game attack. What has he done there? I don't know, but it looks like we've gone back to 2009, because that is very disgusting. MV10U5-K177Y. That's what I'm going to call it for the rest of the game, just to annoy you. Alright, we do have a little bit of a break here. No one's sort of rotated up to that middle map. Only 10 seconds left. Tyson is going to be the first person to this hard point. He's going to have to pick up a big frag here. It's not going to happen. 3 players go down for Frontline. And they do have control of middle map on this bridge. Going to be 2 players stacked up. Should be an easy trade for them here to take out Envious. And that does happen straight up. And they've got them spawning deep in lab. A little bit of a difficult retake here. Luda takes 2. Perko returns the favor. There's going to be 1 player from Empyre just playing slow. I like that. He's waiting for his team. He knows they've spawned cross map, so he's going to be able to get this pinch on as long as he plays slow. Doesn't do anything stupid. Unfortunately, he does and gets traded out a little bit too early before that pinch quite came in. I think that's coming down to communication failure there. But Envious picks up a 2-piece, and he is in control of this hard point now. Yeah, he did a good job to break into that one, and he's got his Scarab back again, 300 points away from getting that Trinity Rocket. We'll see what Frontline do to respond to this. They're going to start pushing in 3-man and 1 on the flank. I want to swap over to Trent. He's last alive for his team. Can't even find the kill on Kitty, let alone anyone else who's pushing him. Kitty, look at him. He's just like snaking around. Not actually snaking, but chilling around behind. And he's going to push him with the Irad. That's the experience and the intelligence of Kitty.
Exactly. It's beautiful, just little baits there. Just sort of stirs up the player to the point where he knows, oh, okay, I'm not going to beat this scumbag. Time to try a different angle. And the moment that happens, Envious sees it and pushes, gets the kill and gets control of that hard point and earns his team rotation to the new hill.
You see Perko here is the first line of defense on this new Turbine hard point. One player's going to be coming in from behind, though they're going to find Pixel, and Perko needs to turn around. Doesn't know that there's two of them there, so Snoopy, he's able to get, Snoopy is able to get a 2-piece. He's on a 3-kill streak right now, hoping that he can continue that on, and they've been able to break it. So good job so far from this frontline team. Yeah,
on that break, they finally decided to do a bit of a 2-2 push, 2 into lab to block spawns, and 2 around the elbow to block the spawns via drill. And it is in a straight-up flip for them, but unfortunately things are going a little bit south for them now. Frontline is spawning out at that hangar. They have a fair jog across. 20 seconds left. I would like to see them leave this hard point alone, and we do see number 7 on your mini-map. Luda just sort of poking at me like, a little bit too late for me. I'm going to back up. I'm going to set up this hard point. But he gets taken out by Tyson. I think if he had just chilled out just a little bit more, that would have been fine, and it would have been probably easier to set up, and they would have retained spawns, because he does spawn all the way out cross-map. It's going to be a bit of a jog back, but he's going to be in time to help trade on the back line, so it didn't work out too bad in his favor in the end of things. We do have someone sort of sneaking around here. Envious Kitty does have this FTL jump, playing like a scumbag. Is he going to get this frag? No, he's not. Luda with the shutdown. And Frontline in control of spawns here. Solid effort from them.
They've been able to maintain it for a little bit, and you know that lead that they had beforehand is slowly getting decreased here. As you can see, the boys in yellow slowly building back. They're now within about 70 points, so continuing this will be very beneficial for them. Every single push that Empyre seems to be doing, they're getting shut down, or at least not trading effectively enough. But as soon as I said that, they do get 2 kills, and then the nade from Curry is going to shut that down. So a good job from him to be defensive there. But now Luda, he has to stay alive, allow his teammates to spawn up and get around him. With 15 seconds remaining, though, you've got to be thinking about those rotations, and I think that's exactly what Snoopy's doing.
Yeah, Pixel had a solid run there. He was on a 4 streak, but Tyson managed to shut him down by team killing, which is a little bit unfortunate. That could have been streaks, and that could have been the game 100% solidified and locked down for them. We do see the rotation coming out. We have Snoopy set up nice in a forward position here. Do have a player flanking into maps. It is Pixel. This could be a little bit awkward for the guys on frontline on that hard point. They need to rotate nice and quick here, because the players on Empyre pinching from every single angle. They all pick up frags. 1 player left for the boys here on frontline. Luda going to try and sneak in. Got his FTL. Wouldn't use it here.
No.
Hits the hip fire, but it's not going to happen. Needed to aim down sights to finish off that frag, but it wouldn't matter because he had no support whatsoever. Teammates spawning across the other side of the map.
Pixel now on a 3-kill streak. Did manage to kill his teammate Curry. Guess what? Oh, sorry. Rather, I think it was Tyson. So
vengeance.
Exactly. Vengeance. That was exactly what I was going to say. As soon as we see frontline players, they're starting to pour in here, but it's not enough. They're now over 100 points ahead once again. Empyre, as quickly as you saw frontline coming back into this one, Empyre have been able to surmount a pretty good lead here, and they're only 7 points away from winning. So close. Tyson, he's using his specialist. That was the active camo. He was able to find a kill, and then Pixel found another one and another team kill. So there we have it. The first map is going to go 250 to 135 in favor of Empyre, and honestly, nothing that unexpected. I was sort of assuming that it was going to go towards Empyre's favor. And it looked like at one point Frontline were going to come back, but it was a little bit too little too late there. Empyre, they seem to have that on lock, that last hard point.
Indeed they did. Millboss, it looked like it was all wrapped up pretty much from the start. It was fought very valiantly by our Frontline, but pretty fair to say that's kind of how we saw the cookie crumbling. Kyle, was there anything that happened that was a little left field for you? Was it kind of just how you expected it to go?
It was pretty straightforward. I didn't quite expect Tyson to slay out that hard. I mean, I did mention that he did it previously in an S&D, but he did open up on that bridge hill and turn that into a bit of a money hill for them, as I think Frontline spawned out a little bit by cave and had to do a bit of a wrap around the map, and it got shut down straight away. So Empyre started off with the bad spawns, but flipped straight away and then rotated straight into Turbine. And Frontline had a pretty awkward break, which they did recover from later on the second rotation onto Turbine. So it was good, but a little bit too little too late for Frontline.
Millboss, we were talking about Envious Kitty being a hot and cold player. He's coming out swinging in this series.
Yeah, he started off quite well. He got a lot of very important kills. Not so much, you know, the star player once again, not what we expect from him, but he is that sneaky player that likes to get in your face and up close and personal in your base and just make things hard for you, make life hard for you, swap spawns, things like that. And he did that very effectively. He managed to get 20 kills as well.
I'm envious of those skills, man, because he is one hell of a Call of Duty player, and what a series. What a way to start off that series, I should say. So that's going to be that hard point done and dusted as we lead into the search and destroy next. And look, if Frontline couldn't get the hard point, Kyle, look, calling a spade, I'm not feeling too good for him for this Search and Destroy.
Well, Tyson showed up pretty big yesterday when we saw him playing S&D. Honestly, there's way too much experience on Empyre for Frontline to probably cope with this, unless... I suppose it is Crusher, so it's going to be a lot of 4 stacks going around the map. So I think if Frontline play a little bit more grouped, not like Crooked played previously in that last series, I think they'll have a better run here, in all honesty.
Millboss, do you think there's going to be a chance here for Frontline to come out? Empyre obviously looking like the favourites here. Not to completely rule out Frontline, but surely it's Empyre that are the favourites.
I mean, pardon the pun, but they really have to step up to the front line. They have to be pushing it, making the aggressive plays, and taking the fight to Empyre if they want.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for it. Hopefully they can be the frontline soldiers that we need. We're going to go on through the rig draft right here. We've seen some funky stuff today, guys. Are we going to see anything outside of the norm? Because so far I've seen the usual FTL jump, active camera. Oh my god! That's actually just an overdrive. We're fine. It's got guys come down. It's all normal. It's all great. Everyone's going the standard loadouts here for their rig draft. So we're going to have a very kind of bread and butter, shall we say, rig draft. Kind of everything you'd expect from this fantastic system. We're going to be getting into this game in just a second. Guys, if you are just tuning in, this is the CWL Sydney Open 2 presented by PlayStation 4. And we're having a great day here. There's been all sorts of stuff going down, plenty of action in the side stations as well. If you have managed to come along to the ESL studio here in Sydney, we welcome you. Thank you once again. I hope it's all that you expected. There's been some great food. They've got the merch stand set up. Everyone's having a good time. That's what I love to see. Now let's just bring it back to what we've got here on the main stage. There's going to be plenty of more matches still to come. It's going to be a big day 2 here of the CWL Sydney Open 2, and I'm keen for it. Look, this match is still about to go down. S&D up next. Is there any particular matchup or any particular teams that you're looking forward to still seeing up on stage here, Millboss?
Well, soon enough, we're going to be heading into the championship bracket. I'm pretty sure all of that's going to be very, very exciting. So there's no one team per se. I definitely want to see a rematch, if you will, of Tainted Minds Mindfreak. That will be exciting. Hopefully we get that towards the juicier stages of the competition.
And Kyle, aside from Mindfreak and Tainted Minds, what team are you looking for to really stand out in this competition?
Don't do that to
I'm
me.
putting it all on you, my friend.
Look, I'm pretty excited for Tainted, so I won't go there, but I'm pretty keen on Oracle. I think Herpy's now finally got himself a squad full of young chins. They're all slaying out pretty hard, and I know they did beat Macca's team that we saw previously, the Validate Brothers. So I'm pretty keen to see how they place. I feel like they could potentially be a top 3 without really seeing a great deal of their sort of high-level Pro v Pro gameplay. So, I don't know, Oracle for me.
Gotta love a squad of young Chinians. Oracle's definitely a standout for me. I'm keen to see how far they can actually go in this competition. You know, and indeed, there's still a whole bunch of teams to come out. Like I said, I'm keen to see how far the open bracket teams can go. Militia Gaming, keep an eye out for them. They took down Crooked in their pro pool matchup. But with all of that said and done, we're about to get into the action. Millboss, who are we following off the break?
I mean, we have to go with Kitty, the legendary S&D player here. He's going to start off with Empyre on the attacking side, Kyle. You can see on the mini-map, they're going for a 4-stack down towards B. Meanwhile, Frontline, they've got 2 players defending it, 1 player on the quick rotate, and then Snopey is going to be further along at A, but they've realized, they've read this very well. He's going to fill the position of looter. They're going to give up that B-bomb, A-bomb side, and they're going to get straight into this 4v4 retake.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we have... I do like the way... I just want to mention Kitty just jiggling himself back and forth. Oh my god, we got something sneaky happening. I'm not going to mention it. You can see what's happening on screen. We do have 4 players up still for Empyre.
He did it! The ninja coming out for Frontline in the first round.
That was
looter. Prayers to Empyre. They didn't check the bomb, and they get punished for it. And there we go. First round going to be going to Frontline Esports. That's one way to start off a Search and Destroy. Get that early ninja defuse in to tilt your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, being ninja sucks. It's even worse late game, but to open with it, it's just like, guys, like, what the hell? Like, look at the bomb. Like, play the game properly. What are you doing? We do have offense here for the guys on Frontline, though. Kai with the bomb in hand. It's going to be a nice 4-stack, like I mentioned they needed to do. So it's good to see they're learning. And it looks like we have Empyre getting the read early, knowing what's happening with the Frontline lads.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be a B, so they're going to wrap here nice and quick. We're going to see a fast plant. We could potentially be nades coming out, getting no tags. So the Empyre guy's probably going to back off and not poke that site. Okay, here on the quick flank, but it's going to get taken out by Snopey. straight away. It's going to be a 3v3 as things get evened up. Pixel in a nice spot. Could get a two-piece here. One player left alive for the guys at Frontline. It's Curry with a nice nade. So we're going to see him. This is a 1v1. Tyson versus Curry. Let's see what they got. Gunfight goes down. Shut down. Trash talk comes out from Frontline. Nice plays there from them.
I really want to see this replay here because it looks like Curry was all but dead and he was able to find the last bullet onto Tyson there. Just enough. Very nicely played.
Clean.
Very lucky in the end because they were both so weak. One bullet would have done the job and it did for Curry. So luckily enough, that's where he gets to go. Interesting sort of fact is that Frontline won that first round with 1 kill. They all died.
So scummy.
But Curry got 1 kill and they got the Ninja defuse. So let's see if they can't repeat that this time around. Empyre taking some tags early. Once again, his teammates are going to push up quite aggressively. Perko's going to find the first kill onto Trent, so that already gives them the advantage here. And they know that the frontline players are going to be rotating around, trying to come towards them. You see Perko, he's got the bomb and he's just pushing out aggressively. Tyson finds another one, and now it's all up to Luda. I doubt he's got it in him to do a 1v4 with a sniper, of course.
So if he could pick up another gun, but I mean, that round was just dictated by Frontline just backing up. They're like, Empire's pushing us, what do we do? And they just sort of backed out from the superior ground on the rock. One player didn't even use the head glitch, he just sat back in the doorway and gave Empyre free kills, so it's going to be pretty unfortunate. We're going to see Luda here potentially probably want to choose suicide instead of contesting this play, but he does get the pistol kill. Going for the second, not going to matter. Empyre playing exactly how you should. Nice and stacked, good trades.
Very well traded there, absolutely. And, you know, I was talking about Frontline need to take the fight to Empyre. That's exactly what Empyre just did to Frontline.
Exactly.
They did that in full force, rushed them, even with the bomb. Perko being the lead man, getting 2 or 3 kills in that round is exactly what you want to see from an aggressive, offensive round. We'll see if Frontline can do anything to the similar on their second offensive round. Now, they won their first one, so let's see if they can't do it again. Of course, you generally favour the defensive team on Search and Destroy, but I've got to say, I've seen a lot of offensive rounds won on this map at least. Let's see if Frontline can't do it themselves. Trent, though, he's already down, and it's going to be up to Curry in a 1v3 all of a sudden. Not even going to find one there, so Empyre, they get 2 rounds back. That was a lot quicker than I expected. Yeah,
a little bit surprised that Frontline didn't opt for an A. Perhaps it's not started out as cleanly as their B. They did have success on their Bs, but you can't really keep doing the same thing over and over because it's just not going to work out in your favor like that. Because, I mean, Empyre just read them like a book. They even pushed up onto the bomb site. They weren't playing passive. They were set up, hitting those long-range shots with the NV4. And I'm surprised they didn't actually frag out earlier. That could have been an even quicker round than it was. Anyway, we're on here for Empire's offense, and they have changed things up a little bit. Frontline with the exact same defense they've had every single round now. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of rotation coming back. Nice, quick reactions from Frontline, realizing, hey, they're pretty stacked every single time. But Luda's busted and gets a 2-piece. Will he get the 3? Has to reload, unfortunately, and gets traded out by Kitty. Snowby is able to clean up the kills, though, and it is just Tyson versus 3 players right now. Let's see what he's got.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely
round
nothing
over.
There. Luda going insane for his squad in the start of that round with that early flank. You know, that was the first time that Frontline had properly put 2 players on A. Usually they have 1 player in mid who can quick rotate either way. But he was on A with him and then was able to get the flank going as early as that. So a very nice job by them to counteract that fast A push that Empyre had in mind. And there's really nothing Empyre could do to counter that.
Yeah, they got pretty lucky that the Empyre guys shot first and Frontline was able to be like, yo, it's been a B, 4-stack every single time. We're going to rotate right now. So it did happen, and they were able to easily clinch out that round. But again, we see the exact same strat from the Frontline guys. Empyre just hit the A stack, knowing that it should potentially be an A, because they are able to rotate straight through. And Snowby's going to get team kills straight off the bat, and it's going to be 2v4 straight away. But they are able to take this back rocks. It's going to be a little bit gross if they can't get out in time. Sticking to ERAD range, Luda picks up the first frag. Can he pick up the second? Yes, he does. Nice place from him yet again. And it is a 2v2 now. FTL potentially a little bit wasted there as he gets that player 1 shot. And the round is going to end.
Shooting bodies.
Diffusion does go out. Yeah. I'm not sure why you'd be shooting bodies just yet, though.
Yeah, you're not up, actually. You're down. Yeah, you got that round, so now you're level. But you're not that, ahead. Maybe you took the hard point convincingly. Congratulations, but this is Search and Destroy. It's a completely different ball game. As you'll see him on the final kill cam here.
I think he might have been a little bit paranoid that his FTL would jump him off the map, so he kind of just dumped it a little bit short. And if he had to come probably just a little bit further around that corner, that player wouldn't have been aiming up basically the right spot at the right time. So that could have been a free frag for the FTL user there of Frontline. We do have a little bit of a stack onto the A site on the defense. Looks like we have another 4-stack from the guys in Empyre hitting. That's the B Street. at least Frontline are reacting nice and quick, which is good to see from some of the fresher S&D players here. But I mean, it is Crusher. Everyone's used to stack and stuff. And I think we're going to have a first engagement potentially here from Luda, as Empyre all back up from the bomb site, knowing they've got a little bit more range, and knowing that Luda's been running this sub and actually just slaying hard.
Yeah, this Luda's been insane so far. Tyson, he's going to use that active camo. No, Luda, not again. Oh, he jumps off it though. He has to because the players are contesting him. He still manages to find that kill. Doesn't know where the last player, Envious, has been able to go. So now it's a 1v1. Envious versus Snopey. Envious was slightly tagged there, but now not anymore. His health is regen, and he's just crouching around this. The FTL's over him. Snopey, how is he still alive right now? He's sliding out of there. Sees the cave. Spots Envious behind it. Hip fires.
Oh my god.
You know what? He just got the worst luck in history. He started mounting the little rock there. That happens to me all the time. That tilts me off the face of the earth. You start mounting something when you mean to double jump, and then all you can do is go for that hip fire. So unfortunate there for Snopey. He was so close to clutching that one. I think one more bullet would have done it. But Kitty, he finds it. So there we go. 4-3 is the scoreline, and Empyre, they're going to be on the offensive round this time. Pixel, he's pulling out that overdrive to get there quicker. Sorry, they are on the defensive side, I should say. We'll see whether or not this helps his team out. Once again, another 4-stack towards B for the defensive side and a 4-stack towards A for the offensive side. Let's see how this one plays out. Yeah,
unfortunate for Empyre. Frontline's finally hit A 7 rounds into the game. So that is a little bit wasted of a payload.
That's the strat, man. That's the strat. Think that we're only going to go B and then hit them at A when they least expect it.
Yeah, the super late game strategy. We do have Luda on screen. Has been going ham for the vast majority of this map. Mass is going to pick up first blood. He's going to return it with second. And it's a 2v2 here. Payloads are getting close to coming in line for Perko. And he's going to pick up a frag and earn that payload. Trent trades it out, and it's going to be a 1v1. Perko versus Trent. Let's see what's happening here. Sneaky things are happening. I'm not going to mention anything. Looks like we got a rotation. Is really slow to check this ball. I'm a little bit surprised. And he does save the round. That would have been so close, James.
It was getting there. It was definitely getting there. Perko was about to get that defuse, but Trent, he rotated at the right time. He knew his timing, and, you know, talk about this team being relatively inexperienced. I know for a fact that Trent's been around for quite a while now, at least, 2 or 3 years. So he's got some experience under his belt, and we'll be able to bring that out in this one and level the pegging 4-4. It's nice to see a close S&D once in a while, and we've got that right here, ladies and gentlemen, between Empyre and Frontline, of course. We are here at Sydney, Australia, in the ESL studios for the CWL Sydney Open number 2, presented by PlayStation 4, of course. And it looks like we're having an opposite of what we just saw. Frontline sent all 4B, and Empyre sent all 4A.
Well, it's nice to see Frontline are adapting in their defense, changing things up just a little bit, because they have been fairly spread out for the vast majority of these defenses. But Pixel gets first blood onto Trent, so it's going to be pretty important as the bomb is down in favor of Empyre. Perko just chilling nice and defensively at the back here. I feel like they should potentially be a little bit more grouped inside the bomb site, but it's going to be a bit rough, as it's going to be 2 players left for Frontline. 1 player left now, Curry, all on his own versus 4. This is going to be pretty difficult. They're going to stomp on him as a group, and it's going to go 5-4 to Empyre. This could potentially be our last round, James.
Let's see how it goes. Round 10, search and destroy. We all love those round 11s, so it's up to Frontline this time to see if they can't manage that on an offensive round. And then that is where things get interesting. See whether they can't take out a map and level the score to 1 map apiece in the series. Of course, it is currently Empyre with the lead, having had won that hard point.
All right, what do we got on this offense? We have Luda with bomb. Pushing up nice aggressively. This is a very different play from what we've seen so far. This may catch the guys on Frontline off guard. Sorry, the guys on Empyre off guard. They're going to sneak back in, and Empyre realizes what's going on, even though it's a little bit odd of a middle push. Rotating back across to this A site. Empyre a little bit slow in the rotation. We do see some streaks come out. They're really spread out. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get comfy trades here. Actually, we do have a nice little setup here as they both alternate across each other in middle, but it's going to be awkward. I'm surprised they haven't just opted for a 2-2 deep pinch, because they know there's going to be players sitting deep. Snowbee and Trent both picking up frags, and it's going to be a 2v2 again. Actually, make that a 1v2 now. Perko with his payload. He could potentially just clinch out the round with this reactive, but I don't think the other team is grouped up enough for this to happen. And Bomb hasn't gone down yet, so he's got plenty of time to work these guys and pull off some moves here. I'm a little bit surprised he's hitting this rotate already. Nope, he's going to wrap back in as that bomb gets planted. Thankfully, it was just in time for him to not really waste too many seconds on the clock to make a push here. He really needs to get in there nice and fast, though, as Frontline is staying nice and grouped. I do like to see that. They know that Perko really doesn't have a great amount of time to flank, and he's not really opting to do so.
I'd like to see him potentially save his payload for round 11, because it's going to be difficult to get the kill. But no, he pulls it out and he can't even get one. shaky shots there, and he's wasted his payload. So that's reactive armor out of the game. That's very unfortunate and a bit disappointing from Perko's perspective. He would have wanted to at least get one and try and get that second. Didn't even get the chance.
Milboss, round 11.
I said
Oh,
it.
yes.
I called it. We're doing it.
Let's see
Let's
the
go.
moves. I'm pretty impressed with these frontline guys. Again, just adapting to what the other team is doing. Luda going huge, like I mentioned previously, even though he's in the neg 8 and 10, which is a lot of deaths for an S&D, but he has picked up kills when they needed them.
Yeah.
So we see 4 stacks either side. Again, frontline, good adaptation, but it's going to be the wrong read this late into the game, which could be a little bit risky here, but last time they opted for this strat, they sort of all pushed through the bomb site and weren't able to stay up. But now frontline spreading out, don't quite like this. Could be a little bit scary as Empyre nice and stacked here. Now opting for this push straight through. There's one player at the back. They should single him out and just group up and chase him. Trent is able to pick up a frag. This could be a little bit scary. Snowby takes another one. It's going to be a 2v2 as we go into the final seconds of this round 11. Snowby trading out the last one, and it's down to Perko to clutch up the game. 1v1, Perko versus Luda. I'd be a little bit scared if I was Perko here. Luda has been going off vast majority of this series, but again, Perko 10 and 7. With his mate Tyson as well. It's good to see. He's not quite the chin slayer that we know, but he's slaying hard here. This could be a little bit scary. Perko's going to get some fairly god tier timing, but they're going to do this little sneaky wrap.
Oh,
Luda. And it's going to be shot in the back and shut down.
That is so intelligent.
Nice. Frontline win the
baited
game.
him so hard. You know, I thought Empyre, they'd gone through that whole, no, rush be no stop. You know, they're trying to get there quickly. And then they decide to, follow through and try and get around to A, but even that didn't work. They got shut down there by Frontline. They're going to even the level here. One map apiece. What a crazy game of Search and Destroy.
Frontline getting the upset and getting the win with not a single player going positive. Search and Destroy, proving you don't need the kills to get the W.
Yeah.
Very impressive performance by Frontline, and that little do-si-do at the end was just the cherry on top, Carl.
Yeah, honestly, that was pretty unlucky. I think Perko did the right thing by waiting to make sure that he could 100% get the frag. But I feel like he just waited just a little bit too long and he got sort of just acutely outplayed, which is, I don't know, I haven't really seen stuff like that happen quite before, so it was a bit of an odd round 11.
I really love games like this where you can see a whole team go negative and yet still pull out the W. It's pretty cool to see, Milboss.
I feel like that first round really set the tone. I mean, they got the Ninja Defuse with 1 kill in that first round, and it went to show, like, you don't actually need kills to win the rounds. That was a defensive round. Of course, you need to get the kills to win the offensive round unless the bomb goes off in time. But then you have Luda doing things like that, and, he, in the important moments, was able to get a couple of 2 pieces, and that really set up Frontline for a victory.
Empyre just looked like they were dominating in the gun-and-gun engagements, but I think, Kyle, it's fair to say Frontline played smarter.
Yeah, honestly, like we saw at the start of the game, Frontline had a really, really spread out defense, and it wasn't working because there was a couple of times where Empyre were just, well, pretty much every offense, they were fully 4-stacked, pretty much every single bomb site. And then Frontline's like, hey, we need the numbers here because there was a point where they Empyre pushed B, and they actually backed out of the site because of just like, well, they have so many people there were afraid to fight these fights. That was early game, and from there, they recovered. They're like, yeah, we got some confidence. Luda's going ham. Let's just follow him in and get some kills.
Yeah, well, Frontline seemed to adapt as they went along. Empyre, Milboss, I think it's fair to say, they kind of did more of the same, which was a whole lot of slaying, but they just weren't able to do what they needed to do with that bomb.
Yeah, it seemed like they were a little bit more disorganized than I would have expected going into this. Definitely, once again, talking about players like Empyre who have such a good experience on this game mode, and to see him not really necessarily, show up as much as he would have wanted. And then, you have Frontline who, as you said, all went negative and are still able to pull out the W. It was really good to see from them.
1-1 in this best-of-5 series, Empyre Esports versus Frontline. We're heading into the uplink next, already into the rig draft. Reactive armor, overdrive, FTL jump, and active camo going to be the 4 standard rigs you'll see, or payloads, excuse me, you'll see chosen. And indeed, that's what you see for both sides. Milboss, we didn't really expect Frontline to get the win in that S&D. If they were going to do any, it was probably in that map. But now as we head into an uplink, another respawn, does Frontline now have a chance? Can they kind of roll with this momentum?
You'd hope so. For their sake, I wish that they do get some momentum going into this one. Momentum's such a weird thing because sometimes it can have such an adverse effect, and you can just, you get that momentum from a map win or a very clutch situation, and you just go on to be absolutely bossing the other team. Sometimes it doesn't go that way. Sometimes momentum doesn't mean anything, and you go into the next map just as bad as the first one was.
Well, I mean, I'd dare say that the Frontline boys don't have a huge amount of LAN experience, so I guess that big sort of ego boost for winning that map, although it was close, is sort of important for them. I feel like that's the right amount of confidence after sort of a bit of an awkward hard point. Which could have gone their way if they had just sort of played as a team just a little bit better and didn't get quite flipped off and stuff like that in some of the earlier, most important hard points. So I don't know. Luda's probably hyped, so I'm expecting him to frag pretty hard out here, and I'm hoping to see some decent plays with him. I'd like to see him as we start out this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hop on with him once the game gets underway. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about our man Perko as well. He definitely stepped up in that search and destroy. As much as they weren't able to take out the victory, he got about 10 or 11 kills in the end there, so definitely showing his worth as well. What do you think about him? Because he as well is one of those players that hasn't really been to that many lands that I can think of, unlike some of his teammates.
I have seen Perko here and there, but you're right. He hasn't been to quite as many as old Envious Kitty and Pixel. But I mean, he's been around a while. He's a guy that I do chat to here and there fairly often, well, mostly back in the day. So I'm impressed by his play here. He definitely has stepped up. It's something I have noticed. I feel like he's taken COD just that little bit more seriously, and it's really paying off, especially in such like clutch S&Ds like that. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go his way, but I mean, if it was like a second later or a second earlier at any part of that map, that would have been completely different for him, and that would have been pretty much an Empyre win there. Yeah,
it definitely could have gone that way. It was very close in that scenario, but as we hop into this one, we're going to start off with Luda like you wanted. All right, as we see which team will get the first point, which team will get early map control. And it's now up to Frontline to really make a stand. And if they can take 2 maps in a row, I definitely could see them getting that third one.
Intrigued to see that they're going for a little bit of a tactical meta here. So Luda didn't actually run a nade. Usually we see that cluster coming out from every single player, but he had a tactical on and opted to throw that just instead. We're looking for stuns and pushes. To make those pushes a little bit easier on guys that are just sort of just jammed, stuck in the middle of in the open. We have pretty standard breakout here. Empyre sitting pretty deep. Snowby's pushed up pretty nicely. No one's really touched ball just yet. I'm expecting... Oh, Empyre just go 3 down just then and there. Frontline going to be pushing up now. Going to grab that ball potentially. They're way too slow. Just get this ball and move it up. I'm surprised they haven't gone for lemon control straight away. There's only 1 player out here. This is just way too passive middle map considering they have 3 people. They should be taking way more ground than this.
Yeah, I definitely expected them to be able to push up and bring that drone with them. Not able to do so much as of yet. Tyson here still being a bit of a menace up in the food. He's going to be able to find a kill onto Snopey as well. Luda trades it out though, and he'll get traded himself. So the 2 down there for Frontline is going to mean that potentially Empyre can get a little bit of map control, but Frontline players that are remaining were able to find some good kills and stop that from becoming a reality. And now it's once again a bit of a stalemate in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I just expect a little bit better from Empyre here slaying-wise, but I suppose Frontline are playing just like a little bit scummy, and that I feel like Empyre used to teams that are actually like taking ground and doing the right thing, and they're getting caught off by Frontline just sort of chilling in corners. But in saying that, Pixel Perko, clean up middle map, that's 3 dead. Snowby's playing nice and passive. He's going to be able to stop that ball from being moved up. Does get traded out by Kitty as he comes back, though, and we do see Luda's having to play a little bit defensively here. NV4 in hand instead of that Erad. Would like to see him back on the Erad slaying up here, but it's not going to happen.
Well, that drone will go in for a 1-point play from Envious, so at least they got themselves on the board here, Empyre. Not by much though, so it's still a one possession difference here. And we could definitely see Frontline get back into that. I thought that they would have been doing just enough to get that defense in the end. It wasn't. We'll see how they can recover from that. Snopey is trying his best to, be that objective and just be the intelligence of his team. Be the Envious equivalent on the Frontline squad. It's working out all right for him so far. He's got some good kills, but not enough to really, make a stance and get some proper map control to push the drone up. Like, they've pushed it up, but it's straight in the hands of Perko. He throws it up bike path. Kitty's now pushing up as well, and they've been able to spawn out some of the Frontline players. That nade taking it straight to the face. Curry, here you go, Envious. Have a grenade for lunch, as he's going to be able to find that kill.
Yep, and that is another point for Empyre, an easy one. Luda pretty much set them up for that, threw the ball straight in their hands, and basically just gave them the advantage of having the objective to do whatever they will with it. It's going to be Snopey again, pushing into top food, and getting early kills, but it's not going to really matter. His boys aren't there to really capitalize on this and move ball forward. Luda's playing nice and slow. They do have lemon control finally. Someone please pick up that ball and move it forward. Have some control of this map finally, but Tyson takes out 2 and sort of shuts down that play. But we do have Trent playing sort of nice and stinky here, but his gun's going to be poking out. It's going to be a pretty free kill for Pixel to clean up a 2-piece as well. And again, Frontline not having any opportunity to score at all because they just aren't playing objective. They're just sort of let's push up middle map, not really do anything, kind of awkward. They are getting kills though. And again, Kitty is going to be pushed into middle, gets taken out. Curry's still there just chilling, doesn't really have any support just yet. His teammates are so slow.
Well, we're going to get into a listen into Frontline to see how they're really talking while they're 2 points down.
Top train dead.
Nice.
Top green tag. Top green one shot. Top green one shot. Pixel.
I'm just gonna push up lemon.
Underpass.
Underpass. Red underpass. Something you push back.
One
One
more me.
He's one shot. Two. One's lemon. Two lemon. One's got picket fence. One's on lemon. That's picket. That's two. One's one shot.
One shot lemon picket.
I'll pick up mid.
Behind me mid. Underpass. Fuck. That's meant to go.
One's mid. Two mid.
Alright, dude.
I got one shot.
Okay, you go back.
There's two mid. Big kills right here. They're taking field. Two field. I spawned here.
One might flank us underpass.
Yeah, I got it.
Two. One tag. That's two piece. Push it.
One more tag. Dead.
Big kills. Throw it out. I don't want to play a field.
I
want kills first. Oh, there's gonna be a guy bowling side, dude. We spawned blue.
Watch an underpass.
Expect bowling.
He'll be around Addy.
Fucking just on it their side, eh?
Who's getting a phone call on Facebook?
I don't know, man. It's annoying.
Me. Oh shit! I shot you. My bad.
One top green Tyson.
Don't even worry
Top,
about
he's one shot. On top Eddie.
And great.
He's mid now. Two mid train. They're on top of you.
Tag.
So Kyle, some interesting developments there, I guess, and what we learned from their communication. They're a little bit all over the place, not really got any specific strategies that they've been able to implement so far. You heard Trent there saying, "Oh, I'll just throw it to their side." What's the strategy in that? Where do you go from there if you do that?
There's nothing. They had teammates spawning up all over blue. They had ball by field. Like, why not just run it straight up there? They haven't done that the entire time. All they've done is push middle map, get a couple of kills, and then had zero opportunity to actually make a point. So I don't know why they just wouldn't group up, make a push. It was the last seconds of the map. They just sort of just took ball and just threw it dead. They did everything that Empyre wanted them to do and just sort of threw away the end of that round. Anyway, as we get in this second half, you see Empyre up 3-0. Only just a couple of ones off of their players here. And we're going to have a little bit of an aggressive push from front lines. They get a couple of frags, and Perko's going to have to play slow. Hopefully, finally, we see ball moving up here. We do see it coming towards bowling, but it's going to be a little bit too late as Empyre come off spawn. Someone is in their spawn carry getting some kills, but it's not going to matter as Perko comes through, cleans out house with Tyson, and shuts that push down pretty much completely. I think for one of the first times that front lines actually push the enemy's base. Shinobi is, however, able to pick up a kill. Not able to trade out a second one. A little bit too aggressive there. Didn't really have the support he needed to finish that off. Tyson picking up a clean two-pace. Ludo returning. And it's going to be 2v2 for each team here. Still, frontline, they have map control. Why aren't they pushing up? It's way too slow here. We do have Smurfy finally pitching through the middle train. But again, they're getting kills. Just move forward, bring the ball up, make some plays. It's honestly a little bit frustrating to watch.
I can understand your frustration. I mean, all I'm really seeing on the minimap right now is a bunch of randomly placed yellow arrows. There's no real structure to their play at the moment. Their map control, they get a little bit, but because one player is just doing their own thing, they sort of lose it just because of their positioning. It feels like that's really letting them down, both defensively and offensively. They're not really able to make much happen in either scenario, and Empire's been able to capitalize.
All right, finally, all 4 players in middle map. They've gotten a kill so far. They still haven't, they're slowly taking a little bit of ground now. They just need to grab that ball and just throw it forward. Manipulate Empyre off of the bus. You don't need to fight them over there. Just grab the ball, run it left, run it straight through the middle cut. Don't feed into Empire's hands here. We do again have an opportunity for Empyre. Nope, they're still playing pretty slow on their base, cleaning out those last remaining members of Frontline. Again, Frontline is going to have an opportunity to push middle map. First frag. Let's see what they do with it.
Tyson here, he's going to be first line of defense, see if he can't find some kills onto the frontline players. It's been a little bit frustrating seeing them consistently lose this map control that they've worked so hard for. Pixel up in that window, so close to getting looted. You can literally see on his health bar, he had a millimeter of health left. A feather would have killed him. But at that point, it's too late.
Look at Empyre, like no one is particularly doing amazing except for Tyson. Envious Kitty's 8 and 19, both 14 kills from Perko and Pixel, the big slayers in that last S&D. Tyson doing not too bad, does have his payload, but we have a scoring opportunity here for Curry. Is it going to go in? Nope, he's going to whiff it. It's going to land at the back of the map, and it is going to get reset straight up. And the last players remaining for Frontline in the enemy base are going to get shut down.
A good defensive play there from Empyre. Let's listen in to them to see how they're going, seeing that they're 3 points up.
Three dead. I'll go camera. I'm going granny. I'll get ball. I don't think we need it. We can just get the kills.
Flanky barn.
One's on the line, dead. Come. One's top roof. Oh, what the fuck, one top.
I'm on back.
Underneath barn. Back market. Barn, last one.
Fuck, why do we not attack mass one yet?
I don't know. I got it. I got camo still. One's a spawn right next to me. One went wide. One went tunnel, guys. No, one tunnel. One's lime, on me at lime. One's top mid. One's gone grannies all back lime. Give Tyson the ball. I'm streaking. Oh fuck, I died. He's underneath. Nice. Last one. I'm streaking. They're gonna be barn and shit. Yeah, last one in barn. Do it out. Oh, come on. I'm streaking again. There's one flanking.
Fight.
He's on the grannies.
Hey,
Grannies.
Grannies,
There.
Grannies, last one. Wait, what? He's on me.
Kill him?
Yeah, he did.
One behind Bob. I threw it at you. Oh no, I didn't. Didn't go over. Nice, get two there. Oh.
Wow, almost got him. Nice.
One hay, he's going top food.
Just
One's
hold
going
on.
underpass.
One top food. Play kills for sure.
One straight.
I got one on straight and one shot. Another one push luggage. Might be good. Green. Great.
Take it. He's tagged. That's our boom. Got him.
What the fuck?
One's in our base.
Flank. Front bowling.
Got him.
Nice.
Did he play kills again?
Play straight.
There's one here, somewhere. I'm scabbing him.
So Kyle, the communication there from Empyre, it's not hurried, it's not rushed, it's not over-aggressive, it's just very, stagnant. They know exactly what they need to do, and they're doing just that. Tyson actually using his camo. Let's swap over to him, see if he can't get the 1 point in. He does, in fact, and that's going to mean that with 30 seconds remaining, Empyre, they're up 6-0. Pretty much impossible here for Frontline to get back into it, and so it looks like they'll take this uplink here. And, once again, as I was saying before, crushing that momentum the Frontline may have built from the Search and Destroy victory.
Yeah, they had a lot of confidence getting kills, but they just did nothing with them for the vast majority of the game. I feel like a bit of a crack record here, but it was really the story of just the entire map. There was no real scoring opportunity for Frontline, other than really like once or twice maybe, even with payloads coming online.
Absolutely there, 6-0. That's going to be your final score for Uplink. A very interesting game nonetheless from Frontline, not really doing too much with what they had. Luda, he got quite a few kills, 27 in the end, actually best in the lobby. But, what's the use? Oh, actually second best in the lobby, sorry, Tyson got 35. But what's the use of those sort of kills, if you can't actually get any scores on the board with them?
Gentlemen, that pretty much went the way I thought it was going to go. Frontline put up a good fight, but Empyre just not letting them have an inch, let alone a mile. And again, once again, just like we saw throughout the hardpoint, it just seems like there was no control at all given to Frontline. Empyre, Kyle, it seemed just to have complete control of the map. Well,
I mean, Frontline were slaying, but it just never amounted to anything. Empyre just constantly had far more scoring opportunities than the opposite team. There's just not really much more to say about the map, in all honesty, Josh.
I must confess, Tyson, 35 and 25. Whew, his sticks are smoking after that performance, because Milboss, that's quite a high number to get for any team, really.
Yeah, not only that, he was able to get 2 of his team's throws, so that was, 1/3 of the score as well. So doing the objective work, this is why I highlighted Tyson before the game. He just seems to have come out of his element this event. It was really, more or less unheard of and untested as this first Sydney Open, but this event so far, he's done very, very well, and I'm impressed.
Given the way Tyson and the rest of the Empyre squad are slaying, Kyle, I don't really expect Frontline, Empyre, no, sorry, I had it right in the first place. Frontline's come back into this next map. But how do you think it's going to go down? Because I'm kind of expecting Empyre to be able to wrap this one up, but Frontline, they could surprise us. I mean, the S&D did go to that round 11, but, they might be able to flip things on their head. For me, it's kind of, difficult to imagine that happening. But, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Josh, we'll look at the first hard point. 250 to 135, and that's Scorch. That's the Slay heavy map. That's basically what the guys on Frontline were trying to do on Throwback, was just get kills. And I mean, hard point's a little bit more straightforward than your uplinks, where it's just like get kills, stand on point, get points. I really just don't feel like these guys on Frontline have it in them to finish off this map, especially after a loss like that. It's pretty disappointing.
I'm thinking it's going to go much the way of the first hard point. I think we're going to finish off around the 250 to 150 mark, but Frontline may surprise us yet. Milboss, who's got to really step up from this squad, because, I mean, they've all put on great performances, but when Tyson's going to come out firing the way he is for Empyre, this hard point's looking pretty grim for them.
I definitely have to point to Trent, I think, at this point. A few of the times I've looked at him on the scoreboard, it's been a little bit lackluster in the killing department. And once again, going into a hard point, that's going to be so vital if he wants his team to take out a victory here.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. The Slays just absolutely have to come on board for both teams. I mean, Envy's had a little bit of a rough one last map, but it doesn't really matter if you're winning so comfortably 6-0.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Envious is, once again, never been known as that star of slaying power. But he does his job, and he does his job well most of the time. So, you know, it's been enough for Empyre so far in this series. Definitely, I'd assume at least a lot more difficult than they would have anticipated, potentially, with the players on this frontline team. They probably are thinking, oh, we'll be able to get this one relatively comfortably. That Search and Destroy, obviously, very, very close, and in the end, frontline took it. So, this could potentially be the last map of this series if Empyre are able to take it out in the fashion that we'd almost expect. But, I mean, if there's anything Frontline can really do differently from the first half point, what would it be?
Make your kills count, push through, group up. They had a couple of good team pushes. I mean, it's just got to result in points. Sorry, their frags have to result in points. And that's probably the most important thing. Just group up, stay on the hard point, maybe play a little bit more passive, don't get as aggressive as they were initially. I guess just keep the rotations on point. It is pretty possible to sort of just stagger out a couple of hard points in a row and get sort of consistently good spawns, especially going from Grave to the Commissary. Fairly easy to sort of maintain Cave, then onto the back helipad spawns, and sort of just juice like a fairly decent amount of points there.
Well, definitely. I know there's a lot of different people like to come out, oh, you know, hardpoint, it requires a lot of strategy. It's definitely more about getting those effective and favourable trades so that you can find space and time to jump on that hardpoint while the opposition is obviously respawning. And of course, this map, as we've mentioned many a times, it's a very big map. One of the biggest maps in the rotation, probably is the biggest map in the rotation. So those rotations are very long, and you know, sometimes you have to go quite early to get onto the next hardpoint.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. We are going to jump into this map. Who do you want to see first?
I'm going to start off with Tyson. The man's been on fire so far, and let's see if he can't continue that here as we head towards the central rooftop and allow both teams to come and say hi to each other in the middle of the map. Here we go. First one to give a warm welcome is going to be Kitty, but Luda and Snowby, they're going to trade out 2 kills. So a good sort of trading scenario for both teams has meant that no one really has established that much control early on. But as soon as I say that, Empyre, they're able to swarm 3 players into the middle of the map, and that's where they're going to be able to get the first few points on.
Yeah, I must say, Tyson's snapshot is very clean. He just straight away just pointed at that second player after completing the first kill. But unfortunately, he had so little health, wasn't able to finish it off. A little bit too aggressive, and we do see Tyson again still being super aggressive here, not even bothering to play for the hard point. Potentially this could be their downfall if no one's really jumping on that objective, despite the fact there's no one middle map. Like, what is happening? The point is there. Somebody please jump on and earn some points. Must be working on the rotation for the second hard point.
Mate, I spoke about early rotations, but Trent, you're a little bit too early for Graveyard, because that's the third hard point, not the second one. I don't know what he's doing here, but we will already have Kitty set up for the cell block hard point, so we'll get the first few points on it. Trent, though, he's going to be his sneaky baby. He's actually playing the Envious Kitty role right now, getting in behind the opposition. Going to be able to find 1 kill. Spots out the second, throws out a nade as well. Don't know whether he'll find that kill necessarily. That player is backed up. That was Perko. See if Trent can't get into the hard point. Not going to happen, though. Pixel's going to come from the side and sideswipe him. Absolutely total.
Looks like we have Frontline not even opting to push out wide in the open. They were going to try and stack out middle, but again, they're just really slow. Tyson's just completely shutting them down from that window. Pixel's just sitting on this point, just earning all the juice right here. And Tyson working with Perko to just clean things up. And they're going to get this rotation nice and quick. Frontline just accepting the defeat here. Not even going to bother the middle map. They're going to go straight around to Cave. But again, way too staggered. No one in a position to make trades. And it's going to be Trent finally just basically being pushed back so far that his teammate is able to catch up with him a little bit more quickly. Would like to see these guys play a little bit more passive. They really can't afford to give up another wave of deaths here, because that's ultimately going to cost them far more points-wise than just sort of just chilling and just waiting for their team second to actually force stack. And again, Trent gets picked just as his teammates get there, but not when they're close enough to actually make a difference in the gunfights. And it's just going to be trades continuously going down for Empyre. Perko sitting comfy at 18-2, 13-2 for Tyson as well. Everyone on the front line going pretty nag.
Yeah, Tyson, he's starting it off so hot right now. He was on something like an 8 or a 9 kill streak there. He was able to get almost to that bombardment, but just fell short. So he's got his Scarab and his Trinity Rockets to work with. Pixel, although he hasn't got many kills, he's still doing his job on the hard point right now. Kitty as well. 1 minute 17 for the man already. We're only on the 3rd hard point of the game, and 100 seconds are going to Empyre here. And, you know, we talk about this being one of those maps that it can be an absolute blowout. That's pretty much what's going on right now. They haven't even made 10 points.
Yeah, exactly right. Empyre didn't even bother to push spawns to the very last seconds of that hard point because they were just so comfy and slaying. Perko may even pick up more frags here, but it's not going to happen. This could potentially be good for Frontline as they all are finally 3-stack, 4-stack grouped up. Now they're going to be able to quad push this back anchor, and it's going to be Pixel with a pretty serious amount of gunfights here, but Tyson's going to help him out as they realize that all the guys from Frontline are pushing up to the top of the map, coming through the back of cave. Trent does clean up the anchor, but Tyson is there to get his back, gets a 2P, shoots some bodies. I do like that. He's working on streaks here. Luda trades things out though, and he's going to push in elbow, but he doesn't have any support. But there is only one person on a hard point, which is Perko, who's going to shut him down.
There we go. Frontline, they were able to find an important kill, but it wasn't enough important kills because they've just been shot out of this one. Perko, though, stayed alive for a little bit longer than I expected him to, and I think that if they're smart Empyre, they know that they can just give this up and work towards the next hard point, and it looks like that's pretty much what they're doing with 13 seconds remaining on this hard point here at the commissary. It's not really that much worth going in for another final team push, or you get 10 seconds or something. They don't need the time. They're over 100 points ahead. Yes, they were about 130 points ahead, but it's still worth it, because they're going to be able to get straight onto that middle hard point. I like what Kitty's doing, just going left, right, and center, making sure that no one really knows where to expect him to be. And this is just typical.
Yeah.
He's sitting in a corner, waiting for players, but he gets out-killed, out-fragged. So there we go. Not the best play in the world, but Tyson, what the hell's going on? 24 and 6. I put him in control now. I'm just watching him.
Well, he barely has any time on hard points. I think he just wants to show off here, get as many kills as he can, just to pad out those stats.
Mate, he's competing with Excite now.
What's
going on? It is very,
I mean, at least Excite plays a little bit of objective.
A little bit here and there. Not when he's padding his stats, though. He's going straight for kills. He's trying to be out shocked. Be like, oh, everyone thinks you're the best in Australia. I'm the best in Australia.
All right, looks like we're looking at this rotation here. Who we've got? Envious already rotated around. Looks like Frontline are opting to play the long run for spawns. Perko's just chilling, really pushed up here in the med bay. He's going to be able to pick up one. Will he pick up a second? No, he's just sort of chilling, backing down. Gets a gunfight. Beats him down to one shot, but it's not going to happen. And it's just going to basically delay a fair chunk of time on that push for Anchor, and it should be possible for Empyre to all rotate back. Yep, they get the spawns in the back. This is GG. It's going to be another set of gunfights for Frontline to have to win here. I don't know if it's going to be possible, because they're just going to spawn out as soon as one of their players died. Let's see where the spawns are happening. We do have Empyre starting to spawn out. Medbay spawns coming in for Frontline. So this could potentially see a decent pinch. Yes, we do have the flip as the guys on Frontline finally win Anchor, but Perko and Tyson both picking up frags here. And that's going to be a 4 down, spawning the guys on Frontline out, way out again onto the Medbay. Again, they haven't even come close to touching this hard point, James.
Well, if this is a money hill, then Frontline, they have maxed their credit cards because they can't get anything out of it. And we'll see if they can try and get a couple more points on the board before the game's over. But I think it's clear and cut right now. I can't imagine there's any chance of Frontline coming back. If they do, that would be probably the greatest comeback in at least Australia's hardpoint history. But I highly doubt it's going to happen now. They're almost 200 points behind.
All right, the stat pattern is 30 and 9. All of his teammates just hitting double digits. He's on a 7 kill streak with that is Kitty on a 7 kill streak, which is pretty impressive here. He's working his way towards some streaks. Does have FTL in his back pocket. Just jam those streaks out. They can definitely win the game on this final hard point.
They're looking to do just that. Literally 200 points ahead, and with only 9 seconds remaining, Frontline, a last-ditch effort. They need to get into this hard point, but Perko, he's just going to sit on it and wait for them to come at him and be like, you know what, it doesn't matter that you're trying because it's not going to be enough here. Kitty, he's going to put down the Trinity Rocket, find the player who's on the hard point and get rid of him, deletes him off the map here, and that is going to be pretty much GG, I'm sure of it. You know, we've got 17 seconds left in this hard point. Empyre, they just need to stay on it for 3 more seconds, 2 more, 1 more, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen, 250 to 45, 50-point club, not even 100-point club, 50-point club there by Empyre. A very, very good hardpoint game by them.
That is all she wrote there for Frontline in that series. Look, boys, I've worked out the Empyre strategy. What they do is they just send send Envious Kitty to the hill. Yeah. Tyson just runs circles around him and slays anything that moves. That kid is a freak.
He is. He just went absolutely off that game. What did he end up going? I need to see this. 33 and 11. 52 seconds on the hill wasn't even the worst on his team. And he, of course, got some streaks in there as well. And, I mean, it's one of those old sort of Call of Duty I guess, strategies. You just run around the map and keep swapping which way you're going around the outskirts. You'll end up finding a lot of kills and going on some big streaks, and he managed to do that.
From 2 maps and uplink and then into a hard point, 70+ kills for roughly 30 deaths. Kyle, that's some good statistics by anyone's book.
Oh, definitely. That was just like a masterclass in stat padding from the guys on, Empyre. Played like bosses for the vast majority of that map. Frontline just so staggered the entire time.
And this is what we saw at the beginning of this match. Tyson tearing up. He got that nice little 2-piece. Before we know it, it's 53 points and climbing to the 9 of Frontline. And all Geary, it blew up after this. Tyson going on a tear, 18-4. Before you know it, 32-11. Perko also turning up as well. That really was just an Empyre highlight reel. The whole team stepping up throughout that series, and I'm keen to see what they bring to the table for remaining matches. But look, guys, let's break this one down a little bit further. It's hard to put your finger on just a single thing that Frontline maybe could have brought to the table or done a little bit better throughout that hard point, because Kyle, it is hard to point out these singular things when it just seems to be they're on a different level when it comes to their hard point games.
Honestly, they were pretty slow to pretty much every single hard point. I don't think they got one rotation in their favor. Every single time they were sort of they're like, wow, the points are bleeding. We've got to push this. So they sort of push it, but then Tyson's so far out, just padding his stats, that he's able to slay up so huge and just sort of cut them and force them all the way back. And then when they're on the new hard points, they would wait for their teammates to an extent at some points, but it was like they were there with them on the mini-map, but positionally, like from their first-person POV, they weren't in a position to trade the gunfight. They weren't ready for anything, so it was just like there was 4 of them there, but they might as well have been staggered like across map anyway.
Super reactive gameplay rather than proactive, it seemed to me, Millboss. They were on the back foot, but then rather than like just cutting their losses on a particular hard point, getting initiatives to try and just really get a lock on their next one, it seems like they never really thought that far ahead, or at least it didn't seem from a spectator's point of view.
Not at all. I can't really think of a time during that whole map that I thought, oh, you know, Frontline, they've got the spawns, or Frontline, they've done a really good rotation. They always seem to be, yeah, as you said, on the back foot, always, you know, trying to come in with the late pushes around on the flank and stuff. It just didn't end up working out for them.
With all of that said, let's check out some other results of matches that have played here at CWL Sydney Open 2, presented by PlayStation 4. Militia with that 3-2 win over Crooked we talked about a little earlier. Era of Apotheon 3-1 over Visualize. Tainted Minds with the 3-0 over Validate. Probably no surprises there. We saw the Frontline 3-0 win over Validate. SYF gets the 3-1 win over Senix. Mindfreak, no surprises. Still continuing their flawless run, and Oracle, that's Hobie's team, getting the 3-0 over Militia. There is only one pool play game left to go. Here is your current results. Topping your pools, Mindfreak, Tainted Minds, Oracle, and SYF all going through with almost flawless victories, and I'm keen to see all 4 of those teams play. The team we don't talk about most out of that group, I'd say, is probably SYF, Kyle, and I think they probably deserve to be talked about a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a squad of guys that have all sort of spent a little bit of time with each other here and there, so it's good to see that Chillians is back on a solid roster of guys that he's played with before and that he knows and that have gone the distance previously. Because, I mean, the